Well, if you're down there for that,
Wish I knew that.
oh,
There's Redneck Gourmet that is on the square. There's the cellar.
I know the cellar, but this is, it's a hamburger, well, really
Is it
good
like a
lunch.
bar?
They serve drinks later, but it's like a hamburger, it's like a pub.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's right there. It's coming right off the square.
Well, they got like that antique toy store, because the only reason I know it is we were going there for lunch one day, and all of a sudden, there was like a slice of my childhood right in the window that I was like, I wanted that back in the 80s.
Did you buy it?
Huh?
Did you buy it?
No, it was like about $1,500 now. It's like this G.I. Joe aircraft carrier that like I went by and I was like, nobody ever got this, you know? Well, apparently somebody did. They had it there, they were selling it.
Wow. Yeah, I know the place you're talking about. It's a Tower Lane. Can I talk to you after? One of my friends stayed there the other day. I know.
You just called it recently, didn't you?
Are you always going to get started? Give me some good news.
On the 10th?
Who has some good news? Huh?
Houses are selling.
Houses are selling, Jackie. That's some good news. Yes, ma'am.
I had a closing on Friday, and got another deal under contract.
What else? Good news.
Okay.
Carrie, give us some good news.
Oh my gosh, I'm here on time.
Almost. Good news, okay. Anybody else has some good news? Anybody have any bad news?
I'll give you some good news.
Huh?
So, 3 Tuesdays ago,
Right.
2 Tuesdays ago, the power in our neighborhood was doing something really funky. I've never seen it before, just tick, 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 the whole neighborhood. Anyway, so we were playing cards with the lights, by candlelight, and we had a fire in the front, in the guest room, and we were able to catch it before anything got completely out of hand. And so I'm grateful we were there, because if we, hadn't been there, or if it'd been another 5 minutes. Yeah.
My lights flash.
Last Friday, I was in Roanoke, Virginia, and I went with my grandson to a work day at a camp for underprivileged kids, and we were there from 9 in the morning to about 3 in the afternoon, and I did yard work for part of the day. So I'm not doing yard work in a long time. We had fun hanging out together, and to be with a whole group of teenage kids was an adventure for me there. They were like 12, 13, or 14. That was an adventure. It's a good adventure, as a matter of fact, but we're for sure. Okay, that sounds good. Any other good news to talk about?
I got one. Thanks to Reed and Silverton, I closed on my first beach house last Friday.
How about
Party, you're a beach house. Party. Where is it?
Gulf Shores.
Where?
Gulf Shores.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So anyway, that'll be a place for memories for a long time, won't it? I can't wait to go there and stay for a couple of days. I will tell you, Kimberly, you will not believe how many friends you will have now that you have a beach house. Exactly right. And the answer is, no, you can't have it for free.
You just send them to VRBO,
Huh?
right? Send them to VRBO.
Exactly right. It will be VRBO, which is actually cool by the time. Anything else, guys? Any good news that we need to talk about before we move on? Anybody here for the first time? All right, Jalen, you introduce her?
Yes, I will. This is Malka. She's interested in learning more and possibly joining the office. We are previous associates from another brokerage. She is an amazing agent, and so just if everybody could, just give her a warm Keller Williams Atlanta North.
Welcome! You want anything to do that? Since you're fabulous?
I mean, I live in Sandy Springs, not far.
She's a dynamic producer though, like she is producing, and so that is a great thing.
What's your name?
Malka.
Malka, like going to the mall.
That's great. Okay, anybody else here for the very first time that I missed, have not introduced? Anybody? You're here for the very first time?
Yes.
Well, stand up and introduce yourself there. Come on. Don't be shy, we're not shy.
Yes.
We're together.
You're together.
We're together.
More than half
You
of the
know
rules
how
that
you
have
get these
been
phone calls, you go, ooh, I like that phone call. So anyway, tell us about where you guys are and where you come from.
So I come from a different amazing attorney world, so.
In fact, she's one of those attorneys. Yes, you can ask her questions, yeah, for sure. I like that, yes.
Yeah, so we're excited to be here and like Heather mentioned, we're joining a team together and just looking forward to getting to know everybody.
And you were at,
I was at HomeSmart.
Huntworth, exactly right. Huntworth. So welcome, we're glad to have you on. Let's give him a Keller Williams welcome. This is your very first time. Introduce yourself, come on.
My name is Adriana Christmer. I am new to Keller Williams. I was an agent in Oklahoma, so I moved to Georgia last year, and so I just decided to join Keller and start over here. So
We're glad to have you here. You're originally from
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Yes.
Exactly right.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Exactly. Anybody else I'm gonna introduce yet? Introduce, please, come on, stand up.
Hi, I'm Bob Friend. I work for Delta for about 32 years, just retired in January. Always been interested in houses, used to build houses 30 years ago. So, looking for a broker and decided to move
And wait, tell me what you did in college. I love it. He played
lacrosse.
lacrosse. And his son is getting ready to play.
Lacrosse.
I should say baseball.
My daughter plays lacrosse as well.
Exactly right. Let's welcome him. Yay! Anybody else? All right. Thomas and Brad, come on up.
Good morning. And I'm not here for the first time.
What do you do?
I just hang out, Jim. That's what everybody thinks I do. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to all of our new friends. I'm Carrie with Thomas and Brown, if we've not had a chance to meet. And we have a couple, so normally our in-person CE classes with you guys on this second Thursday of the month, but since that is Red Day, we're gonna do a Zoom class on May the 20th. And it will be a Zoom CE class for license law, because I know a lot of you guys are asking about meeting those points, you know what I mean, those credits and points, we'll give you points. So we're gonna do that on the 20th from 10 to 1, so I will send out an email about that. So thank you, we hope to see your smiling faces on Zoom. And here's our little Jeopardy thing, Geo party, I don't know, we were trying to get creative and make license law fun, so we're gonna have some fun prizes throughout it too. So we'll see y'all there.
But Cheryl makes it as fun as you can possibly make it.
She does, I agree.
As fun as you can possibly make it, because she's such a character herself.
She is. I know we always laugh because we have fun like classes and we come up with all these names like sizzling steps and all this stuff, and then it's like license law and ethics. Okay, let's more people in, right? So we look forward to seeing y'all there. Thank
Great,
you.
anyway, thank you. Let's give Carrie a hand. Come on up.
All right.
Is this your first time here?
It is. It's my first time here. I'm oddly recognizable, aren't
I recognize the beard.
I hear that all the time.
Yes.
Well, good morning. I'm Kyle McGann with Supreme Lending, and this is.
I'm Hunter McElroy with Supreme Lending. We're gonna talk to you guys this morning. Kyle's gonna start us off about a couple of programs that we've spoken about before that we're gonna reiterate. And then I'm gonna get into a little bit of what we're seeing in the market in terms of interest rates, and everything else is, the news really hasn't much changed. They're still volatile as ever, but we'll get to that in just a minute.
So we've gone over Supreme Essentials before, but just as a friendly reminder, because it's been packing so much heat, well, packing a punch, I don't know, whatever is more appropriate. It's a program where the buyer goes online, either before they're pre-approved, during, or while they're under contract, and takes 2 online classes that are 30 minutes each. One's on credit building, one's on personal budgeting. And then when they've completed them, they get a $1,000 lender credit in addition to the credits that are already there. So this is a great opportunity for buyers to kind of help reduce their out-of-pocket costs, but also you guys can co-brand with it, and it's very, very slick. You get your own landing page, your own URL, and it very much comes off as it's presented by you, and you're offering it, and it really is gonna help a lot, especially in the face of the NAR stuff, and just adding value when you're out there in the field. So that's great, and then just because it's always so relevant, the Supreme Rescue Service is always killing it, and I just had a couple close last week that were exactly this, get a call, hey, other lender can't do it, could you take a look, and then we're able to find a solution and get them taken care of. So always keep us in mind if anything's ever going off the rails.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that a little bit, I was gone all last week. I got the opportunity to go down to the Bahamas, and you guys know, anytime you go out of town, that's whenever your phone starts ringing. Unfortunately, quite a few of those calls that we got were the same calls that Kyle received. Hey, you know, we're a week out from closing, the LO's not answering the phone, we don't know what's going on, you know, what can we do? Some of those deals are savable, the others are not. So we just want to reiterate that it is extremely important who you work with. You've got two really, really good partners in this office with us and Reed and Silverton. You know, we're not gonna be the yes man, we're not gonna tell you what you wanna hear, we're gonna tell you what is accurate, what is doable. Sometimes that is really good news, sometimes it's not the news that you wanna hear. But that is our job, and some people, you know, they don't like to hear that, but that just kinda is what it is. But moving on to the interest rates, does anybody know what comes out this Friday?
Jobs and
Yes,
Jobs
that is correct. The job reports. So the job reports for April are gonna be published, the first Friday of every month, so May 5th or May 3rd, whatever the date is. They're gonna be published. That is not as big of a mover for interest rates as the CPI data, which is the Consumer Price Index, which basically just reads where inflation is. The expectation is that we're gonna add about 250,000 jobs. Last month, we added 303,000, which was, you know, a decent amount above where the estimate was. Just to keep it simple, anytime the number comes in above where it's supposed to be, that indicates a strong labor market, which in turn either keeps the rates the same or they continue to increase. What we're looking for is that number to come in right at the estimate or a little bit below. You never wish that, you know, anybody is unemployed or that the economy is not healthy, but for the sake of the interest rates in the mortgage world, that is a necessity for the government to step in, implement their policy to start cutting rates and give everybody a little bit of a breather on the interest rate side. Typically in weeks like this, the market is all over the place, more so than it is just on any other regular week. The market opened up pretty solid yesterday, but we've lost pretty much all of that, in addition to a little bit more this morning. Typically, you know, once you get closer to the numbers report later on in the week, that's whenever the market starts to get extremely volatile. So if you've got any buyers that are with anybody else, we would, you know, us and Silverton would have locked them by now, which we did yesterday. But if you've got anybody that's under contract and decided for whatever reason they want to float, or if you've got somebody on the fence, tell them to go ahead and lock that while they can and float the rate down. There's no sense in trying to outsmart the market, you know, and ultimately pay a higher price for that.
All right, you guys, so very quick question, and a quick one, okay, because we need to move on, but if someone says, well, I like you, but I've been told I can get 6% at ABC Mortgage, what should their response be?
I would say, first off, what is the cost of getting that 6%? You know, I'm sure, you know, Reed does too. What is out there, you know, is it's either there or it isn't. A lot of people can slap any number that they want on some kind of estimate, but whenever it comes time to lock that rate in, 9 out of 10 times, those numbers are totally different than what it was that they discussed. So, you know, taking us again, you know, Supreme and Silverton as an example, we've got an extra layer of accountability to you guys that other people simply just do not have. We have to see you guys every single day. We've got personal relationships with you. Having those kind of safeguards in place, all that's going to do is have us fight harder for you and your clients, whereas, you know, somebody that may be in Omaha, Nebraska, or you know, Dallas, Texas, or any one of the number of online lenders, you know, just like the agents that called me last week, so-and-so's not answering the phone, they're not returning emails, we don't know what's going on. So I would say if somebody calls me and says, hey, so-and-so's giving me a 6%, I would try to talk them through it. That's why that is not the case. But some people are very hard-headed, and at that point, you say best of luck. Hopefully, we do not talk to you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, really.
And I probably would say, listen, that's a great rate. That's a great rate.
Yeah.
You should probably take
I'm
that.
glad you can get that rate. I can't get that rate. Let me ask you a question. What's gonna happen when we get 5 days before closing and the rate goes back up to 8%? What's gonna happen? Because I can't call anybody. At our lenders, if that happens, Jim can call someone and say, what's going on, Pat? What's going on Silverton? What's going on? So I I can't fix that. Where if it's someone here, I can fix it. And I mean, if I fix some of these guys, or read the, or any people here in the past 2 years, zero.
Yeah, that level of accountability is priceless. I cannot tell you, the time and energy and the money that we spend to, develop these relationships. So, we are an extension of you. If you think enough of us to, send your clients our information, you know for a fact that we're gonna do everything in our power to make sure that that gets to the closing table, at a competitive cost as well. So, if any of you guys have any questions, you've got us, you've got Silverton, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Mind if I just
You
have?
guys give them a hand, guys.
Well, I had one quick question
Oh, I'm
also,
sorry, please.
But if you were a betting person, just throwing this out there, because like I'm looking at the Atlanta Fed and they say that there's roughly a 20% chance that we're gonna have a rate cut, which is probably not gonna happen. But a rate increase, like what do you, is there a chance that it could even go higher?
Absolutely.
Or you think that, because they're really saying that it's like a 3%, but they've never really rated that the right way. Like if I'm taking you to Vegas and they're like, all right, throw money down one way or the other.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what,
The Fed, even 4 months ago, the Fed, they to put it into percentage numbers, they said it was 76% likely that we were gonna have a rate cut in June. That has since gone to 20 to 26%. So, and these are some of the brightest minds on planet Earth in terms of the economy, and virtually every single one of them got it wrong. You know,
Mind you,
so
last
it's
year
a-
at this time,
it is-
Doug Duncan.
Yep.
Who's one of the brightest guys in the whole world.
Yeah.
And who else, a couple of people said, the guy for NAR, whatever his name is.
5.5%.
They said it would be, it would go down by 6% last year. Did that happen?
No.
And are they the smartest guys out there?
Yes.
Plus most people are smart, so the guys, so good luck with that thing, right? But guys, we need to move on. Let's give them a hand, guys. Thank you so much. We need to move on. Okay. One of the bunch of All Republic Home Inspection. Come on, All Republic.
I have been sitting here as if other people were not in the room, and I just quickly backed away once I realized. So I'm here
You
to,
realize about what? What'd you say?
the other partners coming in, so
Okay.
I'm like, woo, let me just
Okay.
back up here. So, yeah, I'm just here to introduce myself to you this morning. I'm Kristen Westbrook, I'm with Old Republic Home Protection. I'm your new account executive. You have not seen me before, and I intend to change that. So I have put in front of you our plan. You can see right on the front, 50 years in business. We're very proud to be celebrating that this year. I don't know who in here knows I'm turning on my phone. Who in here knows what percentage of homeowners do not have $1,000 in savings?
60%.
Oh, it's more than that.
56. Do you know how many people who first get into a home within the first year, what percentage of people need a home repair? Close, y'all are so close, 77%. Okay, so the respondents to that survey, there's a very coinciding percentage that say that those repairs exceeded $1,000. Okay, so you as their realtor, walking them through the transaction, need to be mindful of this. They're paying out a lot of money, okay, to get to that closing table. You all know that. Our partners, our other partners here know that. All of the things that they're paying for. You want to be able to answer their questions. They're gonna call you, okay, if those things happen. Like, oh, I've moved in, they're out in the backyard enjoying the patio, barbecuing, family's over. They walk in for family movie night, and the AC isn't. They're calling you. What are you going to tell them? Hopefully you're gonna say, I am calling Kristen with Old Republic, I will call you back. Because we put a plan in place on your property, and we are going to help you out in this situation. You've got closing attorneys here, you have mortgage people here, okay? Those loan officers are smart people, okay? The closing attorneys, smart people. Let us pick up the ball for you and carry it for 12 months. $615 is our base plan, okay? We don't sell a bad plan. That's for single family home under 5,000 square feet. $615 on the biggest investment of their life. Doesn't seem like very much, right, considering all the money that they're spending. They're trusting you as their realtor. You want to make sure that you have some kind of a plan in place. Let me carry this ball for you. So, $615, you get washer, dryer, kitchen, refrigerator coverage. We do not sell a plan that excludes those things. You get $5,000 water heater limit. No dollar limit on HVAC units for covered components, and that's in all of our plans. And no dollar limit on refrigerant. On our base plan, you get $3,000 per appliance, okay? Moving up to our gold, you get $5,000. Platinum, you get $7,000 per appliance. Old Republic has been in business for a very long time. We are people helping people. This is why I identify with this company, because I want to help you. So, this is the plan sitting in front of you. I've littered your tables with it, and I want to become a valued partner to you. When you have the answer for your clients, you increase repeat business, you increase word of mouth. 5 reasons, I just saw someone pull this out, I have put in here 5 reasons that you need a home warranty. I don't know who in here uses home warranty. Anybody? Yeah, a lot of you, that's great. So you're doing it, yeah. Give us a shot if you have it. I definitely would encourage you to compare plans, look at it. We are the most comprehensive coverage you're gonna get in the market. I say that with confidence. Again, 50 years in business, we didn't get here by taking people's money and not paying out claims. I'm seeing $7,000, $8,000, and $9,000 in a year paid out. Somebody had to pay that. Someone had to pay it. We hope it's not your buyers. So that's really all I have in terms of selling. I just really wanted to just let you all know that I'm here. This is my first meeting. I've been over your territory for 3 weeks. Worked with Kimberly, and now I'm in here talking with all of you, and I very much appreciate your time. I do want to see if you all will honor my request to have a beautiful picture of you all. So, I am always gonna make things silly, that's one thing you're gonna know about me, but I'm very, very serious about customer service. So, can everybody just wanna say, you know, let me win, can you do that? Who will participate, please? Okay. Yay. Okay. Yeah, all right. So that's all I have. My information is on the front of this plan. You're gonna find a great view of our coverage. If you have any questions about it at all, I have terms and conditions memorized. It is my job. So if you have a question about anything, send me a quick text. You can see I'm not gonna get mad at you for coming over my daughter's beautiful face with a question, okay? So I am here to help you and want to partner with you. Kristen Westbrook's Old Republic Home Protection Account Executive. You all have a wonderful morning, okay? Thank you so much.
White Forest C2Ts, which one jumps out at you today? Sharika. Which one jumped out at you, Sharika?
Well, I would say the one that jumped out was Integrity.
Wow.
Yeah, that one, we, especially with the Empowered Series session that we just had, that one was actually across the board throughout the room, and KW, with a room full of KW agents, I wasn't surprised.
Integrity is my favorite one there almost all the time. Just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. I seem to say that a lot to my grandsons. Just do the right thing. Just do it, and you will always win, which is a cool thing. So thanks for picking that one. Okay, door knocking. Danielle Pena. Danielle does this very, very well. And if you're like, I don't door knock. I have no business, but I don't door knock. You may want to come to this Wednesday, May 1st from 11 to 12 with Danielle. She is really good at that, and she'll help you understand how you can do that and take the fear out of door knocking. Again, the 1st, which is coming up tomorrow. GPS 401 class, Arthurine.
Yes.
Tell about Arthurine one more
I'm
time.
over here, yay! You would not plan on going to Gulf Shores and just get in your car and drive and hope you make it to Gulf Shores. And yet, you do that with your business year after year after year after year. You have no GPS, you have no 411, you have no plan for your business. So you just kind of just throwing things at the walls and hoping that it sticks. Now I ask you guys, is this the year to do that with your business?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the year to throw things at the wall?
No,
Oh!
We're tracking you.
You tracking
Do the
me?
right thing.
Do you have a business plan in place? No, no shade, no shade. Do you have a business plan? Yes, I know you do, cause you copied me and you have to send it to me by when?
Friday/Sunday.
Okay, Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Guys, help yourselves and help me help you. Help Jim and I help you have a productive business. There are agents in this business, in this room, who've made a great career for 40-something years. Is this a hobby? Are you gonna dabble? Or is this gonna be your career? Let us help you put a plan together.
What's the cost of that class offering?
Oh, zero.
But you'll get a lot out of it, so guys, please do
Yeah.
that, and she does that every single week, guys, so please come
Every
to her.
Friday on Zoom.
So
Right?
you can stay at home and do that, which is
Yes.
cool, alright. Spring book drive, and guys, this is something that Brenda brought to us, and guys, all of us have got books at home, and they said, maybe Jim, but I have kids' books at home too, believe it or not. But spring book drive is coming up for grades K through 12, please, now May 15th, please just bring, go home, pick up your books that you've not looked at since your kids were little, bring them in, or at least teenage, whatever, and just donate them because we're trying to do a spring book, we're doing a spring book drive and now until May 15th, so please bring in your books. Clean out your closets. Red Day's coming up. Anybody want to talk about Red Day today?
I will.
I would love you to talk about it
Okay,
again.
so it is next Thursday,
You wanna
May
stand
9th.
up?
Oh, sure, okay. I'm Adrienne Gary,
You rock.
and we are doing Red Day, 2 different locations. One's in Lawrenceville, Nothing But the Truth. We need people loading, and I think we just need a couple more. Is that right? Or are we full? I think just a couple more to volunteer for Lawrenceville. We have a group of 30 going to Musk Ministries. If you didn't have a chance to sign up, other ways you can help is donating $5 increments to buy fleece. We're making no-sew blankets at Musk Ministries. Also Pop-Tarts and something else for Nothing But the Truth.
Bags.
Oh yes, and it's plastic bags from Kroger, Publix, anywhere, they need those, so.
Cereal.
Oh yeah,
Individual
cereal, individual boxes of cereal for Nothing But the Truth. Please reach out to me or Stephanie Ian.
All right, tell us about your week next week on Tuesday, what you're gonna do.
Okay, so next Tuesday, I'm part of the ALC this year, so I get to lead a team meeting. So I was Rookie of the Year in 2020, and I've invited the past Rookies of the Year, starting before me and then after me. So we're gonna have a panel next week. I hope you guys will come. We've got some great questions for them, and hopefully.
And tell us on the panel.
Okay, we've got, starting back with Libby Bramlett. I think she was the first of my
Actually,
group.
I was the first one.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you, would you be on my panel?
You weren't.
I'll be asking you
I've
some
forgotten
questions.
more than you.
Oh, okay. So Jim, Libby, we've got Chris Ganzia, Kathy Radler, me, and Amanda Warren.
Nice.
Is that a powerful,
That's a
panel?
team right
Let's
there.
give her a hand for coming over, that's exciting. Red Day sounds like, just another day for, guys, if you go participate in Red Day, you will love what you get back from. So please put it on your calendar, I'm gonna be participating in both of the locations, so
Can I
all
say
right.
something?
Yes, ma'am,
So
please.
Red Day is for all Keller Williams offices like worldwide. So I follow like the Polish ones and they're all about it. So I feel like this is like a really good field day for not just our office, but like for all.
Well served. I love that we give back on that day. Okay, Jalen, I'm gonna get your name wrong. Jalen, come on up.
Good. Hi, how's everybody doing?
Hey, man.
Alright, so this is my lesson learned. Can you go to the next one? In a past life, this was Jim Alexander. And why I say that, the most recent edition of the top producers from the Atlanta Business Chronicle came out, and we should be very proud of ourselves. You all should be very proud of yourselves, for what Jim, Rob, and what all of the agents did last year in 2023. Why I emphasize this 300 and that this was Jim in the past life is 4 top residential real estate offices. We came in the top 5, and we were actually number 4. But when you look at who was number 3, we had 301 agents on the books for our office. Number 3 was an entire company and had 1,500 agents. That's a major difference. Number 2 had 700 agents. And so when we speak about the production of this office and being one of the most productive offices, doing it with 300 agents is amazing. So give you all yourselves a hand. For lessons learned, Angela, if you don't mind coming up, we want to talk about just the experience that Angela had recently in the market, something that can come up. It was a due diligence scenario. Gonna let Angela present that, and then if you all have any quick questions, we'll be open to taking it. But just wanted to celebrate you all and Jim from your accomplishments for 2020.
How many houses I sold last year?
0.
0.
Still a leader though.
Thank you.
Still a leader.
So I had a closing last Thursday. I was in San Antonio for Spring Masterminds, negotiating, repairs on a property. We agreed to a termite wood infestation letter. Termite guy came out, said there's active termites. So in order to get the letter, we had to treat for the termites. In order to treat for the termites, it was discovered there was a leak in the crawl space. So we had to get the leak in the crawl space fixed in order to get the termite letter. Got a guy out, a plumber out to assess the leak. He says it's in between the pipes underneath the floor joists. So in order to get to the leak, we have to destroy the floors in order to do all of that in order to get the termites taken care of. So I'm stepping out of the conferences, calling the exterminator, calling the plumber, calling the floor guy. My client had moved to Augusta and she's a nurse. So she's away from her phone except for lunch, pretty much 8 or 9 hours a day. So it's up to me to coordinate all of this so that we could be on time because they needed to have this letter so that the loan could get approved and we can close. I told her, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I got a guy, I'll get everything taken care of. We got everything taken care of. The day before closing, I get a text at 7 p.m. that says, can you talk? From the buyer's agent. And that is never a good text. And closing was 9 o'clock the next morning. Okay, what's going on? So she says, in our amendment, we asked for the crawl space to be encapsulated. What you did was vapor barrier.
You did what?
A vapor barrier.
It's a different type of cross-space treatment.
Yeah, and I misread that. I didn't see, in my mind, I saw vapor barrier. Even despite what she wrote, I thought that's what I was asking for. So she says, I need to talk to the buyer and we need to see what needs to be done to rectify this. The cost of the baiting system and the vapor barrier was $1,500. I reached out to the exterminator just on the hope and a whim and say, did you guys by any chance encapsulate? He said, no. I said, how much is that? He said $8,000.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I did when I heard that too. My heart dropped because that would be my expense. My seller didn't agree to do an $8,000 deal. She agreed to do a $1,500 deal.
Right.
Because that's what I explained to her. So I would have to eat the cost of my mistake. So I did not sleep at all the night before closing. I called and I didn't tell my seller because I didn't know what to tell her. Because I hadn't heard back from the buyer's agent to know what the buyer was gonna do, and I didn't wanna freak her out without a resolution. So 8:30, I'm on my way to closing, I call her, and I get her voicemail. Okay, good. And you put off talking to her for a little bit until I get more information. The buyer's agent texted me and said, I haven't heard anything yet. Okay. 8:48, agent texted me and said, buyer's fine, she's not gonna do it. You've been so good to us throughout this transaction, she's not gonna review any credits at this point. Oh my goodness, that felt so much better.
Oh my God.
And 10 minutes later, I saw my client and she said, what's up? Why did you call me? I said, oh, I just wanted to check and see if the security system is
Just making sure you're not closing.
Yeah, you know, and it was an expensive lesson that could have been really beneficial.
Yeah.
And my client, she kept telling me, I trust you. You do everything, I trust you. And you're working so hard for me and I appreciate you so much. And I didn't want to at the 11th hour, drop the ball and say, oh yeah, by the way, $6,000.
But you wouldn't have,
I wouldn't have,
because
but
you
just,
would have eaten it.
I would have eaten it. I
Because of
absolutely would have
integrity.
eaten it. However, I didn't want to spoil that experience
Right.
because I had done so much for her and she was so appreciative that was just, it was heartbreaking for me to have to tell her that.
But legally, the buyer, after closing, can come back and say,
I was gonna ask you.
I just realized, after going through the paperwork, that it's supposed to be A and not B, assuming that she even investigated the issue.
We didn't get anything in writing.
I was gonna ask you that.
But didn't
But
the
we
agent
get it
cover
in
that with
writing.
the buyer? Didn't
Yeah, yeah, oh,
So
we
the
had,
agent
oh, we
already
definitely had a
told the buyer
conversation.
at that
Yeah,
point.
but
She
doesn't
told
matter.
her.
And she
But
had
does it
brought
mean
there, right?
anything,
Buying
huh?
them.
I had
You had
to
to
sell
sell
it.
it.
Yeah, the seller.
Yeah.
No,
So
so
In writing.
I'm only going by what the
Oh,
agent
right.
said, everything was fine at closing, nothing was brought up, so, and the buyer has an architectural background, and she intends to renovate the property, so there were some other things that it wasn't as big of a deal, and the fact that we conceded. So hopefully it doesn't come back and bite me in the butt,
Yeah.
because it was not in writing.
Get an email.
Alright, what is the most expensive thing that actually you have kind of got, you know, cause you overlooked something or something came up in the 11th hour? You know,
$4,000 for, I misinterpreted, early in my career, I misread the counter off. And the original contract said 4,000 in closing, my seller said no, and it didn't transpose into the counter offer, and so I had to eat that and pay the 4,000 closing costs.
Those counter.
Guys, who's ultimately responsible for that $8,000?
Who's
The buyer.
ultimately responsible?
Who's ultimately responsible?
The seller, right?
Well,
well, it depends
Well,
on who's.
no,
I mean,
the agent,
I'm leaning like she is.
the agent.
So who's responsible legally?
The seller signed the contract, it's the seller's responsibility to do their own
That's right.
due diligence to find out. And me saying, don't worry, I got it, cause I got a guy, doesn't absolve them of their legal responsibility, however, morally, ethically, I just wouldn't,
That's right.
I wouldn't do that.
That's right. Well,
I like that you're standing in the gap. I like that. Yeah. It's called integrity, I think.
That's all right, yeah.
Awesome. That's our lessons learned for today. You all are amazing. Word of the day, encapsulation. Yeah.
Encapsulation versus
So,
paper
I'm
barrier.
gonna start off this morning with, and Lee, this is maybe you to get over it. What's one of the first things we talked about this morning?
It's the first thing.
No, boy.
Because it'll be great for this conversation. The very first thing we talked about this morning was what?
Listen to outside voices.
Listening to outside voices. And Mark, what was that doing to you this morning?
Just puts me in a place that is not comfortable, that I'm not used to being in. It takes my eyes off of God and His goodness, because I was focusing on the wrong things.
But you're listening to those what? Outside voices.
Those outside voices, and I let them get to me, which I am excellent at closing out the outside voices. I remember when during COVID, my coach said to me, all of my other coaching clients are having breakdowns. You might as well just schedule yours and have one. And I said, absolutely not. I said, I will not be having a breakdown because I've lost a child, and this little COVID thing, we're all gonna be okay and get through it. So no, I will not have a breakdown. So I say all of that to say, usually don't listen to outside voices. I usually have a clear head, but I've been hearing it so much. Oh my God, the market's hard, the buyers, we don't have a buyer, blah, 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 blah. And I let it get to me this week. And so here's the thing about holding something like that in though. The more you hold something like that in, the more it paralyzes you, the more you get fearful. So when stuff like that happens, you've gotta pick up the phone and call an agent, call your team leader, call your assistant team leader, call your coaches, Angela or I, call your ALC, call somebody in this office that you trust. Call Virginia. Oh my God, they've been doing real estate for how long? 30 years. You think she's seen some stuff? You think she's been through some markets?
call Virginia, you will answer the phone, won't you, Will? And say, I'm dying over here, I'm about to quit, McDonald's is looking so great right now.
Still have to take that home.
Real talk. So, yes, don't suffer in silence. So I told them this morning, I told Reed, honestly, guys, I could hardly get in here this morning. I texted them and said I wasn't coming in. And then I was like, what are you doing? Go in now and tell them what's happening with you.
So Angela, what voices are you hearing out there right now? The reason I'm not doing well is because, the reason that I'm not selling is because, the reason that I'm not successful this year is because, what are you hearing out there, Angela?
All external.
Give us
Meaning
an-
it's low inventory, or it's high interest rates, or people don't wanna give up their 2.5% interest rates. It's all external things, not actually action-based.
Alright. Okay, so as y'all are out there, what are some things that you're hearing about the market right now? Things, the reason the market is like this because of that, what are you hearing?
So yesterday or this past week was the first time that I actually encountered a seller that said to me, oh, I heard about the lawsuit. And I was against another realtor. And the issue, what I found for the first time, that they were given misinformation. And now you're basically saying to the seller, the plain words for us is, I didn't say it to him like that, but I would say, what you heard from that first realtor is wrong. Because it is wrong. I'm not gonna pay any buyer's commission because I don't need to. That's the bottom line after 20 minutes of a talk. So conclusion is that I need to come up with a script that's saying in a nice way, what you're hearing from this first realtor is really not the correct information. This is the correct information.
So I met with Mafia and I went door knocking on Sunday. And we talked to a guy, he owns his house outright. They're doing renovations, they're not intending to move, but he engaged a conversation with us. And he says, well, I saw in the Wall Street Journal that the commission structure is changing and that, buyer's agents aren't getting paid anymore. I said, there's a little bit of truth to that. However, this is what's really going on. And I explained it to him. And I said, this is why it's good to have a local resource. Someone that can tell you what's happening here. Because in our Georgia brokerage agreements, there's always been full disclosure. It's been a while since you bought a house. However, at least in the last 10 years, we've disclosed where the commission is going and who's getting paid by whom. So this isn't new for us. And really breaking it down and explaining to them, and then saying, this is why you need to work with me, or this is why you need an agent that is aware of what's going on and that has your best interest over someone who's just gonna tell you what the hype is in media. So when you point out the differences of, I know better and I can guide you better, then it's easier for them to say, well, that makes sense. Everything that he threw at me, you know what, that makes sense. So this is why you need someone like me in your corner.
Heather, Marissa, I'm gonna pick on you all. What are y'all hearing out there? As far as the market, as far as what are you hearing?
Everything I hear right now is just all interest rate based. Rates are going up, or maybe gonna come down at the end of the year, but we don't know. And that's the biggest kickback that I have from seller and buyers, is just what can they afford, and if they sell, where are they gonna go?
So can I say something to that?
Please, 100%.
So that was another thing that he brought up. Oh, my interest rate, but he said he bought his house in 2002. So I said, when you bought your house, what was the interest rate when you bought? He said, oh, it was such and such. So the average interest rate is about 6 to 7%. It feels high now because we just came off of 2, 3, and 4. Historically, this is where we're supposed to be. And so once buyers get over that sticker shock of, oh my goodness, it was 3 it was 3% 3 years ago. No, we're a reality of today, and if you need to buy or sell today, this is where we at. And you buy, you lock in today's price, rebuy when it goes down. And so bringing it back to, especially for someone who's older who bought when it was a higher percentage, younger people don't know that. So you have to bring out the stats and say, historically, this is an average market, average interest rate. We've had unprecedented lows, don't think we'll ever get there again. Don't hold yourself hostage to a property because of an interest rate. Take the equity that you've accrued, put it into the new property, you'll have lesser of a mortgage, and the interest rate you can always refinance if and when the rates go down.
Virginia, what are you telling your clients?
I'm not hearing these things. I am the older person that bought at a higher rate. We had to wait till rates were down to 13.5%. Laura bought her first house at 18%. 7% is the historical average in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's no big deal. Somebody got a deal at 2% or 3%, but they got a clearance sale that was a limited time only.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
7%.
Yeah, that's it.
7% is not a big deal. It's single digits. I mean,
Yeah. How much was gasoline 3 years ago, or regular?
Or something.
How much?
It was 4 something.
3 years ago, 3 years ago.
2021, it was like 2 something.
Yeah, like one point, it's like $1.99 for regular.
Yeah. COVID
Yeah, I don't
relief.
remember that.
People weren't driving.
$1.99, I remember well, because I like paying $1.99. But it's like today, I realize that rather than costing me $35 to fill up my car, it's not gonna be $55. It's just, that's what the cost is. I just really want to be able to go back and forth. What else are you hearing out there, sir?
50's the new 20. 50's the new 20.
The new 20, exactly right.
Wait, I need one coffee.
What else are you hearing out there?
So I have 3 sellers that will not sell, they need to buy. And their issue that all 3 of them are with me, they do not even wanna put their house on the market until they find something, which I know that's different. And how do you get that script going? Because, I mean, besides the fact that we're getting their house ready, but they do not wanna put it on the market at all until they
So then
look.
that's when you have to be creative and find out what they want.
Correct, but what if you, so for some of them, I've been saying, is there a way you don't have to use your equity, you could you could finance the new home until you sell your house. No, I need the equity in my house to actually purchase a new house.
So
Correct, yeah.
you need to find what it is that they're looking for and go find it. Whether it's networking with other agents who work that area, circle prospecting, door knocking, sending letters. You need to be proactive in going out and finding that home that they're looking for.
Well, she's kind of also saying that, you know, how would she time it? If she finds the perfect home, you have to, that perfect home may need to close in 30 days, and then yet they have a house.
But if it's off market, you can control that.
Right.
Well, and then it's gonna have a contingency though.
If you call someone and they say, I'm thinking about selling my house in June, well, I have a buyer for you and they won't be ready till June, let's make it work. So it's just a matter of finding the inventory that your people need so that they can move.
Is there any way of getting around the contingency? I guess I'm trying to get with that,
Well, just-
you know?
But you don't know that's gonna be an issue, just.
You are
Because you
correct,
don't know
right.
on the other side,
Right.
they may need time to find their home, and
Right.
now you're giving them time to do that, so
Right.
you're creating a problem before it's necessary.
Right, are you using our Excel sheet? Our Keller Williams Excel sheet?
No. Oh, you mean to show the seller?
No,
Oh.
no, just to say,
To
I'm
look for
looking
opportunities.
for buyers, I mean, I have 2
Oh,
pocket
I see, you're the Excel spreadsheet. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I
Have you
was
used it?
thought that- yes.
Are you using it now?
Yes, yep.
And guys, what she's saying is true, that if you can find the seller who says, hey, I'm happy to give him 3 months to find our house. Okay, but if you take the next 10 lists are gonna come on the market, okay, how many of them are gonna want a contingency versus one of the house?
None.
Well, maybe not none, but
I
not a
would
lot.
say it's none, it just, I mean, you know,
Right,
it may not be.
It's have to be on the
you
market.
understand.
You can't create a situation that you don't know yet. It's like repeating
the
a
fire.
story, telling ourselves a story and then going out to find something to support it. You have to
Well,
go
you're not
look
doing the
with that.
activity,
Right.
therefore the story is what wins,
Yeah.
because the activity
Exactly
is not
right,
telling you, you don't
right,
have
you
the
gotta
results.
do the activities, right? Cause
So-
you never know who wants to sell, but they're not ready, and so make a match between that person and your client.
And I agree with that, and I'm sure I'm coming to you, Shelley, I agree with that, but I'm a very simple, logical thinker, you know what I mean? But the next 10 houses, 9 of them are gonna want to say, no, I want a cash buyer, with no contingencies. So now if you can find that one-off person, and you can do it by going out there and shopping, it's like, how do people believe this is a bad time to buy rental property?
Oh, a lot of people.
A lot of people.
A lot of people think they don't, because it's so what right now? But you know where we're finding rental properties right now? We find someone that's saying, I got someone at grandmother's house. So remember, we're finding the property, and that's where that's happening. But what's up, someone give me, I'm sorry, Reed, go ahead.
I just want to back up, because Angela did something a minute ago, and it ties into this. She's thinking differently.
Yes.
So when you had that problem come up on the closing that was happening, so many of us, our first reaction would have been, I gotta make sure everybody knows what's going on. You didn't, and you said, okay, wait a minute, let's think about this situation. What are the possible outcomes? Let's go slow. And it turned out to be exactly right. If you had called when your first reaction was, I gotta make sure my client knows, it would have been a train wreck. Same thing about this situation. We make assumptions about how something's gonna turn out, and we make decisions and we act on that instead of backing up and figuring out, okay, what's a possible solution to this? Don't act yet, let's think for a minute. And that's what we're talking about on this with the client that needs temporary occupancy, right? There are people out there. There are people that will take a contingency contract.
So the guy that I talked to when I was door knocking, that was what, I mean, he threw all kind of objections to me, and he says, well, where would I go? And I said, well, that's why I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out prospecting for a buyer.
Yeah.
This is what I do, so if you had a particular need, I would find your home.
And where
And
do you want
clearly,
it
I'm
though?
telling the truth, cause I'm at your door doing the same thing for another client. So if that's something that's preventing you from making a move, let me take that off the table. Tell me what you're looking for, where you're looking for,
Yeah.
and I will market it.
Solutions,
Yeah.
Yep.
solutions, not
Hold on, hold on a
problems.
second, Shelley, you were next.
So I'm not sure if everybody here knows our spreadsheet inside the office. Maybe Kimberly can tell you where it's located and what do you do with that? So I don't know. Can you?
Buyer needs, right?
Buyer needs, sellers
buyer
needs.
seller
She sends it out periodic, like once a month.
stats? It's it
No,
lives,
An Excel
you
spreadsheet.
have,
The Excel spreadsheet.
it's
Coming
in
soon.
one
Yeah, that's why I
resources.
send it out every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
And
I
it's
What
in
gets Kimberly's in email.
Yeah, so on it, you're gonna put in your buyer's needs and your seller's needs. Even if your buyer's needs are 2, 3, 4 months from now, put it in the description. I have private listings, I put it in that description because these are the same situation like we have here. I'm not ready, I'll be ready in 4 months. If I can get you somebody that will pay you top dollar, will that make sense? Please use it.
Guess what? We all have a reason to go door knocking now, because Joanna needs to find a house, and it's a 2-for-1 is what you were alluding to too, Angela, is you go door knocking anyway, but when you know somebody who needs a house, we need a house for a buyer. It doesn't have to necessarily be your buyer, but you could also pick up a listing
And take
at
that,
the same
that
time.
Excel spreadsheet and use that to prospect around. If
That's
there are
right.
people that have buyer needs and it's an area that you want business, which should be any area, utilize that
Could
business.
you elaborate just we're coming to you, Jalen, just a little bit deeper, because I would say, and this is a guess, out of this room of 45 people, I'm guessing about that also, that probably only 3 or 4 of them go door knocking. Is that about right? I think it's more than that. Who goes door
I'd say
knocking in
less
here?
than that.
Hold hands up high. 1, 2,
Door knock.
3, 4. So go down that path just for a minute about, you have a need and you're going out to find a solution. Is door knocking the solution?
So I would say it was maybe 8 years ago at a team meeting, we used to talk about buyer needs, and I would write them down. I would write them down, what they were looking for, the neighborhoods that they were looking for, and I would go door knock that neighborhoods. And there was a neighborhood, Pepper Tree, off of Lower Roswell Road. And I went there, I think maybe two times through. It's a small neighborhood. And one of the homeowners called Jim and reported me for lying.
Oh, that's true. I forgot that you. I
Reported you for lying?
Yeah, you talked about, yeah.
Because I was door knocking, because there was someone in the office who had a need, and so I was going out and talking to the neighbors, and I hit her door twice, and she reported me. And I just say that to say it was funny, and Jim's response was, "Good for you, you're out there doing your job."
What did you say to the seller?
Right. What'd you say to her?
I said, thanks for letting me know, that's what you're supposed to do.
But was there like a no solicitation time?
No,
We
she
didn't
just-
the listing, how about that?
She said you were lying.
Yeah, I mean, she just needed to complain about something. There are gonna be people out there that are gonna complain, but the amount of business that I've gotten from doing it makes it worthwhile, so that those are just funny people.
I find that most people aren't rude to your face, like it's so
Majority
different
aren't.
that the phone, they can say whatever and hang up.
Yeah.
But into your face,
That
I mean, they'll say not
accountability.
interested or whatever, but no one's ever been rude to me, and most times, if they don't wanna come, they talk to me through the Ring doorbell.
Right.
You know, and say, you know, we're not interested, and I'm like, one guy, I don't know, I guess I was feeling spicy that day, I was like, how do you know you're not interested, you don't even know why I'm here? And he's like, I'm just not interested in anything, I'm like, so you're not interested in money? And he's like, are you gonna give me money? I'm like, potentially a lot. And it was like, we just went back and forth, and he eventually was like, I'm not coming out, but that was entertaining. And I'm like,
Did I call you next week?
yeah, you know, yeah.
Good job.
I love that story. So guys, here's a solution, your solution right here is to go door knocking.
Or
Find
circle
what's out there.
prospect or letters, I mean, there are many things that you can do to find what you're looking for. You just have to think outside the box so that you can get it, as opposed to just waiting for it to show up in it.
Which good, Jillian, been waiting patiently.
It's all good. So for newer agents or agents that are just kind of reshaping their scripting within consultations right now, we have a lot of sellers and buyers that have Zillow PhDs in real estate, Fox News PhDs in real estate. What are your power shift statements to reset and have that aha moment where people catch on to know this is the professional, this is the expert? Because a lot of times we're met with a lot of ego and pride and knowledge from maybe reliable sources, but a lot of non-reliable sources. What are your power shift statements to reset, I am the professional, I am the expert, and them being able to trust you? Because you can kind of see when that light bulb goes off when you have a good consultation.
I don't know, I don't have like go-to phrases per se. Each person has a different, it's a general script, and each person is different based on their personality and how what I can relate to. This guy was all about numbers and quoting the Wall Street Journal as if it was the resource. And so bringing it down just to talk really numbers for Metro Atlanta was specific. So knowing your data, knowing what's going on in the market, and being able to, what Jim and Arthur was saying, block out the noise of the media and focus on what's happening with stats inside our office. A good opening phrase is, tell me what you've been hearing about the market. And that way I get to hear what they think, and then I can dispel those based on whether it's true or untrue. So tell me what it is that you're hearing about the market is a great opener. And then you can take it from there, what their credible sources are, where they're getting it from. Is it national news? Is it AJC? Is it, what is it? And then if their realtor isn't giving them that information, now you're doing something different because you're not just showing properties, you're giving knowledge. I'm a real estate consultant.
One of my favorite statistics I love is, so Mr. Seller, you're interested in the rates. What are the rates right now, Mr. Seller? Where they're 7%. Okay, 7%, okay. And what do you want to happen? I want the rate to go down by a point. Does that sound reasonable? Okay, so we go from 7 to what? 6, okay. All right, so if you wait that to happen, could happen next week or next year at this time, right? But it goes, let's say December this year goes down to 6%, okay, and you buy a house. Let's say you wait till next year at this time, you buy a house, it's going to 6%, okay? That house you're looking at $450,000. How much will that house going up by in the next year?
500.
Minimum.
4%.
3-4%.
Well, at least 4, maybe 6 or 7%, right? Some of them go more than that, okay? So let's be generous and say 6%, okay? 6%, okay? So the rate went down 1, and your house went up 6%, the cost of buying it.
Alright, which is 26, let's say $28,000.
So Mr. Seller, tell me how you win in that situation. Tell me how you win, because you lose there because you're paid 5% more for something you can buy this year. Now, is that simple math? That's pretty simple math, isn't it? And you're losing because houses have been going up, how much in the past 3 years?
And you can use the stats to show 20%, 18%, 11%, and 7% this past year, and the average is 4. So we're still higher than the national average, and it's still at 7%, which means even if it goes down, you're still increasing between 4 and 6%, 4 and 7% year over year.
Which makes sense. Okay, we got, let's shift a little bit. What else are y'all hearing out there is the reason people are not buying, selling houses right now? What are you hearing? Liz, what are you hearing?
I'm in kind of a similar situation as you. There are people that are waiting, well, some are waiting for rates to come down, which I've explained. Let's not do that, because that doesn't make sense. And others want to find something first. So, but others are moving. They're ready, they're doing things. So it's a mixed bag.
And Liz, for the ones that wanna wait, what does a lower rate mean?
No, well, you're gonna laugh. He said, oh, the rates are gonna be down to 4 by the end of the year, right? I'm like, no, actually, no, they are not.
So what happens?
So he's off that. That was just
But the Wall Street Journal says it is.
Yeah, he didn't say that. I don't know where that information came from. I just said, I kind of laughed. I'm like, no, that's not, let's, I was like, we may never see that again. So let's just make a move.
Okay, yes, sir.
By the way, just to touch on that graph, I've had a lot of people ask me, is there a timeline where I can refinance and I can't? The answer to that is that you can refinance, if you close today at 7 and tomorrow they get 5.5, you can refinance. Now, you have to look at the cost of that and look at the time versus money. If it's gonna cost you $5 grand to refinance, but you're gonna save, $300 a month, you divide that $5 grand by 300, what is your break even point? 14 months. At that point, if you're gonna stay in that house longer than 14 months, it makes sense to refinance. If it doesn't, then you got your answer.
And for a typical refinance, is a percentage that works for, probably gonna cost you 3% refinance?
Probably
is there a number?
Probably a little bit less than that because you're not gonna have owner's title insurance, which is a decent cost that's associated with that. Also, if I remember correctly, you're not gonna have to pay the intangible tax as well, which is also, depending on what your definition of substantial is. Transfer tax, so I mean, if you had to put it in a percentage of closing costs on a purchase or 100, refinance is probably 55 to 60, somewhere around there. 55 to 60% of the purchase.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I was just, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just
is
the
that a
transfer
ballpark?
tax.
Right, it's the transfer tax and the, owner's title insurance.
Well, if you're going back to the same lender, you don't have to pay intangibles tax also.
It has to be like identical, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. It has to be.
I mean, yeah.
Come in, Virginia? Yes, ma'am?
On that, I was just want to ask to pay off the loan. So I had mentioned to some of my sellers, is there any way that you could, qualify for a loan?
Right.
Let's get you into the house that you want, and then once your house sells, once your house sells, you could use that equity to pay off the loan.
Yes.
So that
It's called a
happens in-
recast,
yeah,
by the way.
okay.
Which is totally, takes 30 minutes.
But it's no time limit, like,
Correct,
like
yeah.
if 30
Well,
days.
Some investors, like if you look at a jumbo product,
Yeah.
for example, I mean, there's, like we use like 40 some odd different jumbo investors. Some of those will have a time frame, just so in the event that they don't wanna keep that on their books, they say you can't do it within 60 days to ensure that you submit that payment to the correct person.
Right, oh yeah.
Because it is humans on the other side of that, if you submit that payment, God forbid that gets lost, that's a problem. So they put, some of the jumbo products put 60-day limits on that before you can recast.
Like that, Virginia, you got a question?
The lenders all track our buyers for us. They just need to stay in touch with their lender. The lender will let them know when it's feasible for them to refinance.
No,
And if they
she's
stay
their
with that
lender.
same lender, it doesn't
Good
reduce
one.
their cost.
Anybody else have a question before we move on? Yeah, Shark up there.
Has anyone come across the objection that it's cheaper to rent than to, what's that?
That's right, I want to go next.
Oh, okay, great.
Is there a scenario where Mr. Seller, guys, I'm in my ivory tower, I'm not up to do what you all are doing, and I respect it more than you know, but I would think Mr. Seller, so probably out of 10 houses on the market, probably none of them want your contingency, any more than I will let someone buying your house have a contingency. So Mr. Seller, so what if you had your cash, and you could move temporarily to an apartment, and then when that house comes on the market, guess what we can do? We can wrap it. Is that pie in the sky? What do you think?
No,
Moving twice, depending on the family situation.
right,
That's cool.
really not.
Store
It's
some of their stuff?
it's too much of a hassle for the sellers, what I've experienced.
Hey, that could be it, guy. It sounds easy to me, there's one of me to move, well, 1.5 my dog, which I get.
That would take special circumstances, just depending on family. I mean, if you got kids and pets and you gotta downsize everything, you get into a temporary apartment, the move is stressful enough to have to do it twice, if we can eliminate that. Is that, but you were talking about buyers wanting to rent instead of buy. The idea would be, what is the long-term play?
Unless they're moving to a new area.
If
So
they're,
if they are
they're
moving, let's say from
out of town and they
from
need to figure
Savannah
out.
to East Cobb,
Yeah.
right? Then they will be willing, to my experience, to live here and just figure out, do they want Walton, they want Rossiter, they want Springer.
Right. So that's what I mean, what's the long-term play? Is it just to get familiar with the area, or are you thinking that you're saving money long-term by not entering into real estate?
Yeah.
Like if their mortgage is gonna be a lot more than what their current rent is. You know,
Sounds like they're buying outside of their means.
what's that?
Are they buying outside of their means?
Well, they're qualified for the loan. And yet-
Qualified and what's in their budget are two different things.
Right, I mean, they could be paying less to rent per month and saving that money, as opposed to paying more in a mortgage. So kind of, you know, obviously, so to
But
go
what would they
around
be
that.
saving that money for? If they're, my question would be, is the desire to get into the market eventually? Because your rent is never stabilized, at least with your mortgage, it's stabilized to a certain extent, minus the property taxes. So if the long-term play is to build wealth
And
and
taxes
to have a
after all.
stabilized living space, which is your highest cost in our budgets, then getting into the market would be the best thing. Because rents go up every year, and relocating because the seller decides he wants to sell or listens to someone else's rules, just depends on what your long-term goal is. But if the thing is renting is cheaper, well, yeah, because you don't have the overhead, but you're also not building wealth.
That's right, I've not heard your calm voice. Ask a lot of questions. She actually asked a lot of questions. Has solutions to questions. Thank you.
It's all about what the client or the buyer or the tenant is looking for, what you said, it's asking the question. So I list quite a bit of lease listings, and I shared with Angela that actually I was able to convert a couple of them to buyers and then future sellers, right? So I had a listing for $4,000 in Wheeler, couple comes through, I can see they're not interested in the house, but we engage in a conversation. And a month later, they close on the house. So really, and we weren't really looking, $4,000 in, he said, well, we just need a house for 2, maybe 3 years. And I said, well, let's do the math. You're spending $100,000 in rent for the next 2 years, and you know how it appreciates here. And they said, yes, our rent has gone up every month. We're really not paying $4,000 right now, we're at $3,500, but we're flexible, we really want a nice house. I said, well, let's look for a nice house. And for a month, I showed them both rentals and houses for sale. And I never said no because I wanted them to see what's out there. And it really wasn't much. And the house they saw with me on the first tour, that's the house they ended up buying. So it's really about what your client wants. Just listen, and show them the value. And I don't know how much they're gonna make in the next 2 or 3 years, but they're not gonna lose their $100,000. So, and when they talk to the lender, we just laid it out. I'm like, if you're making that choice, you're paying yourself the $100,000.
And we can guess on average if did they buy in East Cobb?
No, Powder Springs.
Okay.
They started looking here.
And migrated there. Even if the market appreciated 5%, which is low, over 2 years versus the 100,000 that they're not gonna recoup. So they're gonna get back what they put in plus an appreciation of maybe 10%.
Yeah. And who knows,
So
they may
just
stay
having
longer.
those conversations and showing them the difference. And if they're interested, now's not the time because they need to save more, they have a higher DTI, then, you know, setting up a game plan for when they will be ready to jump in comfortably. Not everybody's meant to be a homeowner at this point. Some people need to rent, some people need to get their life stabilized and do other things. Just giving them the
You're typically
options.
looking for a solution.
I'm sorry?
You're typically looking for a solution when you're talking to a potential buyer seller, and how do you do that?
I'm asking a lot of questions.
Like, we'll say it one more time.
I ask a lot of questions. And in my consultation, I let them know I'm watching and I will be asking a lot of questions. I'm watching body language. I'm watching when you walk into a room, does your face light up or does it frown up? As we're navigating and I hear you talking about the kitchen and how it's too small or how you like to cook, whatever cues you're giving me, I'm listening and taking that and making sure that I'm understanding what it is that you want, what your lifestyle is.
You're asking a lot of questions. I don't think a lot of people just spew stuff out before they have a solution before they know what the question is. Oftentimes I already remember the answer before I know what the question is. Something goes, that's not what I asked them. Oh, excuse me, Jamie.
This is to the property value versus interest rate possible decrease question. How often is the conversation coming up in local growth projects or local just things that are being attracted to Atlanta? Because a lot of times people are taking in national news, but Atlanta and the metro Atlanta market is developing faster than majority of cities in America. So when it comes down to transit expansion, corporate expansion, the World Cup coming here, things like that that are increasing property value, how often are sellers possibly introducing those things or buyers introducing those things, or how often are you as an agent speaking about these variables that are truly unique to Atlanta that is increasing the property value?
I talked to a seller yesterday who has a property in, right, 2 blocks away from Clark Street. And we talked and the conversation was, if you looked in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta in the last 2 years, all you saw were cranes. They're building so much and now some of those buildings are finished and coming to fruition. So the way that they're building up the city, watch that means something. Your property values are gonna increase. And she's noticing all the new trendy things that have come up in addition to Clark Street, that it will definitely boost her value. So they're aware when they see these things that it's a new wave of businesses, it's a new wave of people that are moving in, it's a new wave of tenants that are moving in, and what direction that's going. And now it's just a matter of understanding how much of an increase does that bring. When the battery came to Smyrna, property values shot up within a year because the battery was the battery. And then the more that they're developing that area, and they're going even further out, even over here on Powers Ferry and where the LA Fitness is, they now have Chick-fil-A and a Chipotle and a new Kroger. Terra Mill. I mean, those areas were not desirable areas, and now they're building up nice rentals and redoing the condos, so the values are going up. So people are aware, they just wanna know how much of an increase in their value is that bringing. And vice versa, when they see things going out of business, they're wondering, okay, do I need to get out now before things really take a dive and my property values increase?
I'm still hearing once in a while on the news show, I haven't watched them much, is that, have you heard that property values are gonna drop dramatically? I'm going, really? Where? Billy, how would you answer that question, that property values are gonna drop dramatically in the next few years?
Actually, yesterday I had a conversation. I have a list of 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 4,000 square feet.
Yesterday I received a phone call from the agent who asked for my experience at this price. And I had with multiple offers under contract in 2 days. Then after 2 days, buyer said, sorry, I do not get job transfer. They terminate. They are back on market. So I explained it to agent. She said my coming listing would be 100 square feet larger. And my seller asked me to list it at 850. It's the same, no basement, nothing. Okay, it's up to you how you want to, but my experience, market is active, everything is moving as long as you price it right. Yes, last night, my client called me and he's like, you convinced us that this is the right price, but our neighbor's house just listed coming soon at 820. So that agent talked to me and from my 750 listed it at 820. It is a Mark Spain. I called my clients today and I told them 60% of Mark Spain listings being reduced price over a period of time. They do not sell for whatever it's listed. So long story short, if you list it right, it will be sold very shortly, in a short period of time, and above list price. If you list it above list price, it will be reducing and reducing, and you cannot list for how much previous house was sold, because you don't know their situation. You need to list it a little bit below.
And I'm also hearing it out there, Israel, that, houses are sitting on the market longer now.
Some are, some aren't.
Why is that?
Well, Kevin Jackson put an offer on a property 2 weeks ago in Cumming. It was 600,000. And he saw that it was busy activity, so this buyer was comfortable putting an offer 40,000 over the asking price. House came on the market on Friday. By Monday, they had received 46 offers.
46? Yep.
40,000 over was nothing. Not even halfway. And then Libby has a property incoming that's not getting that type of activity. So it just depends on the property, it depends on the timing, it depends on the house. So not every house is gonna sell in 18 hours with 100,000 over asking. However, sitting on the market for 3 weeks, depending on that market, is not a bad thing. We're just, again, coming off of such a hot market that sellers still have that in their rearview mirror.
For the past 25 years, what do you think the average days on market is? 25 years?
14.
45.
14.
What would you say, Tracy?
27 is mine.
Okay, like 27 years?
Yes.
27 years?
Yeah, no, 27 is mine.
Exactly.
Average days on market, but probably 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah, probably 6 months over the last, how many years?
25?
Yeah.
I've heard 9. That may be 1 year. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it's certainly not 4 or 5 days like we're seeing now.
So guys, why are houses staying on the market longer now and some selling for 47 offers? Why is that? Depending on price and condition.
It's the same 3 things all the time, price, condition, location.
I'm seeing for my listings more terminations, so that is extending our time. We're getting things right away and they're not sticking with it. So that has been a struggle for me for 2 different ones. I don't know if others are seeing that or not.
Yeah.
So guys, let's help with that. If she's seeing more terminations of her listings, and guys, this is not story 8 Liz, it's help her out, give her somebody. What would you advise her? Who would advise her on that?
That the buyer's better? I'm sorry.
I think that what we're having to do, and it is helping us with the terminations, because we went through that last year. Yeah. And what is helping us is researching the person who gets the contract really deep. And that can't avoid a termination, but I think that it's helping our sellers a lot, and that is that we are diving deep into the buyer. Where are they coming from? Why are they moving here? We're going through all of the W's. We're finding out what their need determination is. Is it something that's right away, or is it something that they saw an open house and decided, oh honey, we can get this wonderful house? Because those are the ones that we're seeing are terminating. It's the people that have to be in the house that are staying with it. And then it's also, and this is, I can't base this on anything except experience. Experience has told me that the older the pre-approval letter is, the less likely they are to close.
That's,
And that is just, that's according to Paige Morgan.
That makes sense to you?
And you know, you can read a lot of things into that, you know, how long have they been looking, how many other transactions, and I asked the buyer's agent, have you been under contract with this person before? If they go, yeah, this is the third one, it's like, okay, bye.
Next, I love that. I gave your next and then you.
All right, and this is a question meant with some anger, not directed at you though, Angela. 'Cause
I'm sorry, excuse me.
All right. We're not, there's natural anger in that, so I can actually level this. All right, because for some reason, I end up dealing more with buyers and sellers. You know, I end up getting a 60-40 split. The buyers I've been working with, a lot of them have converted to cash. The last couple of weeks, you know, we've put in some offers here and there. We haven't landed anything, but we've been in the running. But somewhere through there, what the hell happened to people not liking escalation clauses? At some point, they're just like, don't give us an escalation clause, just come in with that top. Well, I mean, it's like I'm like from a leper colony or something coming in there, you know, I'm like, well,
When I
escalation?
talked to Kevin about the offer and coming,
Yeah.
can you imagine 46 offers with 46 escalations?
I was one of them.
See, all right.
We didn't get it.
I mean, but can you imagine the escalation, it goes up to this number and then, okay, then now this one kicks in, it goes up to this number, so that one's out, and you're doing that for so many different contracts. Your spreadsheet is just a nightmare. So they're like, listen, just give me your best.
Well,
And hope your best is good enough.
no, that's the answer. I know. It's kind of like I'm angry that you're telling me it. But
And it's like PTSD from when you got all of those offers and it had
Yeah, I know.
escalations. I mean, when I was on Ryan's team, we had a listing where we got 70 offers. And some of them had escalations, and literally the floor was lined up with contracts trying to figure out what goes first.
Which one out escalates the other one?
Which, first lining up all 71 and figuring out which ones don't, and then whittling that down to maybe 40, and then which escalation, and then which ones are FHA, you know, it's tedious. So if you're gonna get that many offers, if you're anticipating it based on the
I
agent's
know.
calls.
I know. I've come to realization of it. I hate hating it. You know, I'm just.
We now put in our FMLS
Yeah.
private remarks, no escalation or love clause, or love letters.
Yeah.
Neither one of those right sharp. We're gonna finish, guys, sharp.
Okay, I was just gonna say about the listings, you know, if you've got multiple offers, I know you probably already know this, but, you know, negotiating the earnest money with the buyer on hand, because I've noticed that buyers really don't like to lose their earnest money. So, like, the higher you can get that, the more that you have them tied in, or even option money.
Yeah.
That's how I've had buyers win offers with option money, so that then you know they're really gonna stick.
And how quickly they're willing to send it. If it's like 5 days and their due diligence is 5
Yeah.
days,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
obviously not cool, so,
Yeah.
Tucker has a question.
Yeah, one last thing for the listings, and I've seen this quite a bit, that could also play into the financing. If you have, and I just experienced this, yesterday. This lady was looking at a house price at $575, the tax bill was, and they terminated due to bad inspection. But you have to make it a point to run the numbers before they submit an offer, to make sure that they are comfortable with them, before they go up on a contract to help with those terminations. Because that tax bill was $4,800, this one was $9,700, which is a fairly large difference for the same price. So,
Same with HOA dues.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you've got, HOA dues and taxes both are horrific.
Yeah.
And we've started estimating higher on homeowners insurance than we did in the past too.
Last but not least, so how do you react when I say, well, if the seller says I cannot move because interest rates are too high, you got outscripted. So whatever happens, you can get outscripted. How does that happen?
By not asking enough questions. Because if you discover the motivation for the move, if the motivation for the move is great enough, then the interest rate shouldn't matter. As long as you can afford the payment, again, you have the equity to apply to a new property. If it's if it's one of the Ds or relocation, then interest rates don't matter. You do what you have to do. It's those people that are on the fence that you really have to have a deeper conversation to understand the motivation of why they're wanting to buy or sell. And once you understand where they're coming from, then you can help them guide to where they need to be.
So the bottom line is ask lots of questions.
Ask a lot of questions, yeah.
All right, so Angela, if I'm sitting there thinking today, my business is not where I want it to be, what are the options in this office as far as, like, what options do they have?
So, I'm one of the productivity coaches, so we can definitely have a conversation about coaching and what strategies you need to do in order to increase your business. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, my coaching clients, we do script and role play. We use Phil Jones' What to Say cards to develop a conversation so that when you encounter a buyer or seller who has an objection, you know how to walk through those objections. So getting the script and role play together, we're practicing by actually getting on the phones and having a plan on how you're gonna develop your business. So the accountability, the learning, and then just someone holding your hand through the contract process. So love to have a conversation with you if that's something that you're looking to do, to grow your business.
Let me get back to life. Secret weapons. All right, guys, anything else before we close?
Can I say one thing? On Monday, Angela and I, we are hosting a career night. So if any of you all are interested in building your profit share, if you know anyone that is looking to get their real estate license, anyone recently licensed, or just anyone that's open to opportunity within the market, feel free to invite them to our career night on Monday from 5 to 6. It's going to be downstairs in the lead generation room. We'd be grateful for any of your referrals.
Anything else for you all?
Yes.
Just because the lawyer me cannot let it go, on your deal with the vapor barrier, you should probably have the buyer initial, like if you change that on the encapsulation, change it to vapor barrier, and go back and have, so you can sleep every night knowing that.
Now that she's put it on my head, and right in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, I need to call her as soon
Yeah,
as I
because
can.
the text from the agent wouldn't be enough, so make sure, yeah, you get that.
Thank you.
And it gives them an extra level of authenticity, but also pain, because if they say the wrong thing, you're gonna correct us. I like that thing. Welcome. All right, guys, thank you so much.
So I got a question for you. Totally unrelated to real estate. I'm DJing Stack Mitzvah on Saturday. Any suggestions? No, they created a playlist. They really like lined out everything. But I've never been to one. I've never been to a Bach Mitzvah. Bach Mitzvah. Alright, there we go. Bach Mitzvah. Anything